Is NATO feeling the heat from Russia? Rutte warns India, China, Brazil to cut ties with Moscow or face 100% tariff. National Stock Exchange of India ranks 4th globally in IPO market, leads in number of IPOs, raises 47,000 crore rupees in first half of 2025. Noida Authority launches new industrial plot scheme. 12 plots will be allotted by e-auction starting July 15. Namaskar, welcome to HyBiz TV. I'm Shashira. You are watching Business Talk. In a bold and controversial statement, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has called on India, China and Brazil to increase diplomatic pressure on Russia or face severe economic consequences, including 100% tariffs and secondary sanctions. Rutte's warning, delivered after his meeting with US senators on Wednesday, reflects NATO's frustration over continued global trade with Moscow despite the ongoing war in Ukraine. Rutte warned that if the leaders of these three major economies, India, China and Brazil, continue business with Russia, they could suffer serious consequences, suggesting that their economic ties with Moscow are indirectly prolonging the conflict. He emphasized that these nations must help push Russian President Vladimir Putin towards meaningful peace negotiations. The NATO chief also hinted at secondary sanctions, which are not aimed directly at Russia but at third-party countries or companies that engage in trade with it. Such measures are already used by the US in cases like Iran, where foreign firms dealing with Tehran can be penalized by being cut off from the American banking system or slapped with heavy fines. Rutte's remarks come after a time when US President Donald Trump has also issued strong warnings, vowing to use trade tariffs as a tool to end the war. Trump has threatened a 100% tariff on Russia and its trading partners if Putin doesn't agree to peace deal with 50 days. Trade can be a powerful tool to end war, Trump said earlier this week, highlighting that these secondary tariffs would hit countries like India and China. India, one of the largest buyers of Russian crude oil, could be among the hardest hit if secondary sanctions are enforced. After the Russia-Ukraine war began, India ramped up its imports of discounted Russian oil to meet its growing energy demands and manage inflation. However, this strategy now faces serious risks, like oil supply disruptions. If Russian oil is sanctioned, India may need to shift to costlier sources like Saudi Arabia or Iraq, driving up fuel prices. Rising energy costs could lead to inflation, hurting consumers and increasing pressure on the government. If the US imposes penalties on Indian firms or banks, it could affect financial transactions and global trade. A sudden stop in Russian oil could threaten India's energy stability. The global oil market is already volatile, and new restrictions could create further chaos. India may struggle to maintain a diplomatic balance between long-time partner Russia and its Western allies. Increased Western pressure could strain India's natural stance. Russia has responded strongly to the warnings. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabko dismissed the NATO and the US threats, stating that Russia is open to talks, including with Trump, but will not bow to ultimatums. India's National Stock Exchange has achieved a big milestone in the first half of 2025. With fund offering worth 47,000 crore rupees, NSE became the 4th largest stock exchange in the world in terms of total money raised through IPOs. According to a report by S&P Global Market Intelligence, NSE topped the global chart in terms of the number of IPOs, with 73 companies going public. In comparison, Nasdaq had 66 IPOs and took second place. Overall, companies around the world raised 5.31 lakh crore rupees through IPOs in the first 6 months of 2025, out of which NSE accounted for 9%. The top 3 global markets in terms of money raised were Nasdaq Global Market, NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, and Nasdaq Global Select Market. Together, these US-based exchanges raised 2.5 lakh crore rupees, nearly 47% of the total global IPO funds. In India, 119 IPOs were listed on NSE and BSE in the first half of 2025, raising a total of 51,150 crore rupees in the same period last year. There were 157 IPOs, but they raised only 37,682 crore rupees. So, while the number of IPOs dropped by 24%, the amount of money raised increased by 36%. In all of 2024, Indian stock exchanges had 333 new listings, raising around 1.7 lakh crore rupees. Market analysts believe that if the secondary market remains stable, India will continue to see strong IPO activity in this second half of 2025. An IPO is when a company sells its shares to the public for the first time. Companies need money to grow their business. For example, to open new offices, invest in technology, or expand to new markets. Instead of taking a loan from a bank, companies can raise this money by selling ownership shares to the public. When people buy these shares, they become part owners of the company. In simple terms, IPO is the process through which a private company becomes a public company by offering its shares to ordinary investors in the stock market. If you are looking to set up a business or industrial unit, this could be a golden opportunity. The Noida Authority has launched a new industrial plot allotment scheme. It's first under the Unified Industrial Allotment Policy introduced earlier in February 2025. According to a report by Hindustan Times, this scheme will offer only 12 industrial plots through an online e-auction. The main goal is to make productive use of vacant land in developed sectors of Noida and attract fresh investments. Interested applicants can apply between July 15 and August 4, 2025. The available plots are separate across different industrial sectors in Noida. Sector 7, 1 plot, Sector 8, 10 and 162, 2 plots each. Sector 80, the highest, with 5 plots. The plot sizes range from around 111 square meters to 7,430 square meters, with reserve prices starting at 56 lakh rupees and going up to 16 crore rupees. The reserve price is the minimum price the Noida Authority will accept as a winning bid. Noida Authority CEO Lokesh M said this scheme is an excellent opportunity for entrepreneurs aiming to set up units in Noida and contribute to job creation. Applicants must deposit an earnest money deposit based on the reserve price of the plot. In addition, a non-refundable processing fee of 29,500 rupees and a document fee of 5,900 rupees must be paid. Once allotted, the successful bidder must establish the industrial unit within 3 years. An added benefit, if the full premium is paid within 90 days, a 2% discount will be provided. The authority stated that the scheme was crafted after a detailed survey of industrial sectors in Phase 1 and Phase 2. Officials are expecting a strong response from investors along with significant revenue generation through the auctions. Thanks for watching. Keep watching HyBiz TV. Namaskar.